So the truth is, I'm becoming who I used to be, but this time better off. There was a time I was more at peace. There was a time I wasn't always fidgety. There was a time I was more loving, more positive, and everything. And somewhere along the way, I lost that version of me. And I miss that version of me so much that I'm trying as much as I can, doing all that I can to become her, but not just becoming her, but becoming better. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Luchi's channel. So, I've actually been on a journey of finding my way back to myself. No, not the perfect version of me, of course, but the version of me that felt lighter, the version of me that felt kinder, the version of me that is more at peace, the version of me that is more aligned, the version of me that is always on the go to chase our purpose, build ourselves without feeling the toxicity that the world brings sometimes. And I had to be honest with myself on this journey if I genuinely wanted to be better. I don't think I just lost myself. I didn't just lose myself randomly. Certain things contributed to this. Certain things contributed to me following this wrong path to my goal, right? And I won't beat myself up for the fact that I allowed it get to me. Well, the truth is, it got to me without me realizing that it got to me. I don't know if that makes sense. So if you're at this stage of your life where you are having an introspection and you're asking yourself, what happened to me? The me years back isn't the same me now. There is a place of growth which is actually very important, and it's actually very good for people to grow. But when you realize that the energy you had back then, your attitude back then is better off than the attitude you're giving off now, then you need to retrace your step, pick up some of the things that you're doing back then, some of the way you were living back then, to add up to who you are now, to become better, right? You're not going back to be just who you used to be. You're going back to be better, a better version of yourself, while picking some of the things, right, that you used to do back then that made you feel better. So in this video, I'll be sharing some of the things that contributed to me losing myself on my journey of life. If this resonates with you, please do well to click a like button, all right? Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and stick around because it's usually a great time on this channel. This channel is dedicated to young adults that are ready to navigate life, that are questioning everything. Trust me, it's not just you. There are a million of us. So you can always drop your question. You can always ask your question. You can always drop your advice or some of the things that has worked for you so that we all can learn together. Remember, no man is an island of knowledge. So without much further ado, let's just dive right into the video. So the first point is awareness. After my introspection, during my introspection, while still introspecting, I had to admit the fact that something was wrong, because the truth is you can't start anything if you are not aware of that thing. All right, I was aware of the fact that okay, there is something wrong and there is something that I need to fix. You need to be self-aware, and for you to do this, you need to think back, sit down with yourself and talk to yourself. Sit down with yourself and audit yourself. Pinpoint your life from years back and you now. How are you doing? How are you going to grade yourself? And in all honesty, you need to be fair. You need to grade yourself right. Be sincere with yourself, because everybody can lie to you. Some people can lie to you, but you can't lie to yourself. All right. Be self-aware. Admit it first of all. After I admitted the fact that something was wrong because I was overwhelmed, my positivity has shifted. It has dimmed. It wasn't as it used to be, right? And when I got to this realize, I told myself, no, I won't keep pretending that everything was fine. Everything is not fine. I have lost something and I need to get it back. All right. So the first point, like I said earlier, is awareness. What is that thing that you think you're not doing right that you need to start doing? And you can only get this when you sit down with yourself, block all of the noise, stay away from the social media, stay with yourself and do a deep introspection to know where you are getting it wrong. You can never be perfect, all right? You can never get it all wrong. At some point, don't beat yourself up. Things might go haywire, right? So what makes you unique, what makes you good is that you realize this and you're trying to fix it instead of dwelling in your failure, instead of dwelling in that pit that isn't who you are. All right, so moving on to the next point. So after my awareness, I realized one thing, that my environment was affecting me. Trust me, you won't realize this until you start writing out everything that you think is injecting negativity into you, all right? The noise, the energy around, the environment, the association, whatever it is. I realized I thought I could actually influence it. At some point, you could, but when it becomes too much and overwhelming, you won't realize that this environment is shaping you. All right. There are some environments that is not actually where you want to be. You need to tell yourself, is this environment in line with my future self? Is this environment in line with where I want to be? Well taken. There are sometimes you can't actually change your environment, but you can influence it by ensuring that you are not always there 100% of the time, that you take yourself out and go to places that is going to influence you for better, because whether you like it or not, your environment plays a great role in shaping who you are and how you feel. All right. So I pinpointed that my environment is affecting me more than it should, especially in the negative part. So I had to do something about it. All right. So the third point, should I call it third point or third step that I had to take to rebrand myself, to become my better self, is that I had to distance myself from my environment. I had to distance myself from all of those things that were not in line. Trust me, this was hard. This was very hard. I thought it through. I thought about it. I discussed it with few close allies, close friends. So it doesn't look like I was doing too much. It doesn't look like it was just my head. It was difficult, but it was something that I had to do. You need to learn to stay away. You're not entirely going to cut yourself off. If you can, well, all fine and good, but you can just distance yourself. If you've been spending 100% of your day in that environment that isn't shaping you, you need to distance yourself and spend like 5%, 3%, 2%, and dedicate the major percentage to things that are more in line with you, to things that is going to groom you, to things that is going to help you grow, inject positivity into your life. You can't afford to take your life with a pinch of salt, because in the long run, you're ruining you. You're ruining you, and you're not taking your dream and your goal seriously. All right. So I had to distance myself. The most difficult decision, I won't even lie, but was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it. I had to just be selfish with that part of me to become better. Because the truth is, whether you like it or not, you get to a certain point in your life and you realize that some environment, some association aren't meant for you, because they won't help you grow and they aren't in line with your journey and your path. And you need to tell yourself it is time to let go. It is time to stay away. Not because you're better, right? But because you're different now, but because you're trying to get to somewhere and these things around won't help you to get to them. And there is something that people usually say, if you can't beat them, you join them. The truth is, I just couldn't find myself joining them because it was draining me and I can't fight it either. There is this line, this quote I saw in a movie I watched one time, that if you're trying to beat the beast, you will end up becoming even scarier and more dangerous than the beast, right? So if you're trying to beat an environment or beat an association that is affecting you, the honest truth is that you have to become worse than the thing you're trying to fight. And in the long run, it will make you become who you are not meant to be. It will make you become a different version of yourself. It will make you become someone that you didn't even realize that you can become. All right. So I just had to like take myself away from the situation to sustain my peace, to build up my peace and help myself grow. So yeah, sometimes in life you just need to take hard decisions that are meant for your growth. All right. So moving on to the next step that I had to take on this journey. This step is the most important. If you do all of the first three that I mentioned and you don't do this, then you're wasting your time. This fourth point is intentionally rebuilding myself. You have to intentionally rebuild yourself. All right. If you're aware of the situation, you've realized that maybe it's your environment or association that is doing this and you distance yourself, what next? You need to start rebuilding. All right. It's like when you're building an edifice or a house or something, you realize that something went wrong while building and maybe you brought it down. You have to rebuild again, because when you bring it down and you're just looking at it, then nobody's going to rebuild for you. All right. This is the most important part. This is like the salt that makes the food taste better. you have to rebrand yourself intentionally. This is where you mind the kind of things you consume. This is where you stay more with yourself, to reconnect with yourself, to get back at those hobbies that you lost along the way. If it is reading, if it is journaling, all right, if it is taking a walk, all of those genuine things that you lost along the way, you have to reconnect. Mind what you're consuming, mind the kind of people you're following, mind the kind of things you're listening to, mind the kind of things you're giving your time. Because if you don't realize it, your time is very expensive, and when you give it away, you can't get it back. That is something that when you give it off, you can't get it back. Now, when you realize that your time is something you can't get back, do you tell yourself, oh, since my time is not that important, as for someone that is trying to rebuild themselves, do you just dish your time out to anyone or anything just like that? No, you become more intentional with what gets my time. What gets my time? All right, be ensure that whatever it is you're doing, that it is in line with the goal you've set for yourself. It is in line with the path you're towing. It is in line with the things that you want to groom yourself, right? Because this is what makes the difference. Rebuilding yourself so that those people that you distance from, or those places that you've distanced from, the next time they are seeing you, they are seeing a totally different person. And if it strikes them well enough, they would want to emulate you. Not the part that you have become aware, you've noticed, okay, what the issue is, you've distanced yourself and you're just there. When they come back, they're the same person. There is this part of the Bible that says that when a demon leaves you, all right, and you don't groom yourself with the word of God, you don't build your house and fortify yourself with the word of God, the demon, when he comes back and see that you're empty, is going to bring 7 extra demons to occupy that space. Nowhere is meant to be vacant. It's either you're good or you're bad. It's either you're positive or negative. It's either you're growing or you're dying. So you have to choose a course. And I admonish that you choose to rebrand yourself intentionally. Choose to build yourself right. After you have cut off all of these excesses, cut off all of this noise, cut off all of these things that you don't need, now you start feeding yourself right. After cutting off the junks, feed yourself with the whole meal. I don't know if that makes sense. But the truth of all of this is, in the journey of growing yourself, in the journey of becoming better, it is not always rosy. Some days will definitely be better than the others. Some days will be bad, some days will be good. But I've told myself that in this journey, I'm not going to strive so much to be perfect, right? I'm not going to beat myself up to be perfect, because perfection is just a fallacy that doesn't exist. The most important thing is, are you growing, right? So the thing is, I am on the journey to become a healthier version of myself, in as much as I'm trying to be the person that I was, but not just that person, but a better version of that person. Because over the years, I've gained experience, I've learned to listen, I've groomed myself with better knowledge, right? So now I won't just be that person, I will become a better version of that person. All right, this is something I think you might want to do if you're at a point in your life where you're lost, if you're at a point in your life where you feel like you're losing touch with who you are, if you're at a point in your life where you feel like you're misdirected, you've lost track of your journey. I think you might just have to sit down, talk to yourself, have an introspection, become aware of the situation. So the summary of this is that if you feel like you've lost yourself lately, if you feel like you're not in line with yourself anymore, you're not broken. The truth is, you might just be in that web where you're shaped by the things around you, by the people around you. And yes, you have the power to start choosing differently. You have the power to do things better. As far as you're still alive, it is an opportunity to make better decisions. It's an opportunity to do things better. All right. So if this resonates with you, please do well to tell me in the comment section. Have you ever been in a position where you felt lost? What are the steps that you took to retrace your step? What are the things that you do? Or are you feeling that way right now? You can share your experience and tell us in the comment section, because there are people to learn from you. Remember, the first step after your introspection is being aware of the situation, all right? The second step is realizing what changed you, what triggered all of this. For me, it was my environment and association. The third step is distancing yourself from all of these triggers, distancing yourself from all of the things that is ruining you. And the most important step is rebuilding yourself intentionally. All right, thank you very much for sticking this far, and do well to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't done that already. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already, and for the fact that you like this, you can also check some of our videos All right. I believe that those ones are also going to speak with you. Remember, this is Luchi's Journal, a safe space for every young adult that is going through life. All right. I'll see you on my next one. Until then, please do well to take care of yourself. To this.